Good morning and welcome to my new life in Ottawa, where I'm living with my two friends, Helen and Jennifer, and their daughter, Jaden. And I'm just now going to my boyfriend's house, who lives across the bridge in Gatineau, which is a neighboring city. Welcome to today's video about social media addiction and a simple way to overcome phone overuse using 5 steps that I personally used over the last few months and found extremely effective that really get at the root cause of why you might have been overusing your phone anyway. Let's go upstairs to my office and get started. Hi and welcome. I want to show you my new office. Everything's new. I got a new office, I got new camera and equipment for YouTube, and I just got new editing software as well. So I'm going through a big upgrade. It's quite an adjustment. These paintings by my mom and the new plant. Cuties, little cuties. And then my desk, and then this new painting by my mom, which I absolutely love. It's so perfect. I'm so happy with it. And then look at this little cutie I picked up, this giraffe. I'm in love. If you're new here, you may not know that I channel, and so today's message is from the Council of Light, which is basically like wisdom from your higher self or from a higher dimension. This is the 3rd video that talks about technology overuse in this series, and today's video builds on the foundational concepts that were outlined in those previous 2 videos. I'll link them below in the description box as well as above so that you can check them out. And today we'll go through 5 steps that are really mental shifts in how you perceive social media that will really help you disengage and use it in a productive and healthy way versus a destructive way. Today, I'm going to try something new and read you the message. You may want to grab a journal and pen so that you can make notes as you reflect on the questions that are asked in the process. So let's hear from the Council of Light about overcoming social media addiction. Awaken to your Starseed mission, episode 27, Stop Social Media Addiction. July 5th, 2020. It has now been 5 months since the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and I spent much of that time alone and developed a dependency on social media, primarily Facebook. I learned a lot and expanded my consciousness quite a bit through my connections, especially about racial injustice after the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent riots. At the time of channeling today's message, I moved back to Canada and am staying for the summer at my parents' cottage on a lake in Ontario. It is time to let go of social media as you have been using it for connection and entertainment. It is time for you to use it only when you need something for a specific purpose and then to leave, but not to let it use you instead, by scrolling and putting yourself and your mind being at the mercy of other people's thoughts and agendas. And instead, to curate a network of like-minded friends and thinkers who you trust their values and integrity to be at the receiving end of the content they share. The goal, as you are aware, is to share information and consciousness resources globally so that you may all rise together. You have greatly expanded your consciousness as a result of receiving information through your connections on Facebook. It is actually essential to where you are now. And it has also eroded your sense of connection, reality, and well-being to the point where you have now formed a dependency that is unhealthy and you know it. You know this is not how you want to live, and so it is time to stop living that way. And as with the process of leaving any addiction, it starts by admitting you have a problem, understanding the deeper cause of why you have a problem and what needs you are trying to fill that are driving the problem in the first place. It starts by understanding how you can meet those needs in a different way from there and building the daily habits of doing so. Now, let's go through the process. At this point, if you have a pen and paper, I highly recommend that you actually do this step because it's quite quick and easy, but it's also very powerful and worthwhile. Step 1, admit you have a problem and be willing to solve it. Step 1, part 1, admit you have a problem, write this down or say aloud, I admit I have a problem with and blank. So to give you an idea of what I wrote in response to these, I admit I have a problem with the overuse of social media and in particular Facebook. Step 1, part 2. Then list the impacts of this problem by completing the sentence with a point form list. The impact of this problem is that ... For me, I wrote, the impact of this problem is that I spend too much time on my computer, my brain feels scrambled, my mind is so full of information that I get overwhelmed and then I can't function. I spend less time in nature or doing things that bring me peace and well-being. Step 1, part 3. Write or say aloud, because I recognize these negative impacts, I am now willing to blank and consider what you are willing to do. For example, it might be that you are willing to stop using social media, limit your use of social media, stop using one app and to focus on a particular way of using another, phase out of social media, build a life that is not as dependent on social media, or prioritize your well-being. I wrote, I am now willing to let go of my need for social media and build a life that is not dependent on social media to meet my deeper needs of connection, consciousness, expansion, and opportunities. Step 2, understand the deeper causes of the problem. In quiet, either sitting in meditative contemplation or standing and moving your body gently, state your intention. I intend to understand all of the root causes of why I spend more time than is healthy on social media. Show me the truth. Help me understand. One note with this step is that when I am asking for insight, I do so almost as in a prayer and consulting with God or higher power, and so you can adjust this step according to your beliefs. At this point, I got a pretty awesome download. At this point, I got a pretty great insight about social media, which is that it really is designed to be addictive. And when you're using and interacting with any addictive substance, such as alcohol or cocaine or cigarettes, you are aware that, oh, this is something addictive. And if you took those things every single day, if you took cocaine every day, or if you smoked every day, or if you drank alcohol every day, you wouldn't be surprised if you became an alcoholic or a drug addict or a smoker, because those things are addictive and you just expect that outcome. So in the same way, we ought to be aware that we're really interacting with something that is innately addictive and that it was designed to be addictive, and to treat it with caution just the same way that we would if we were interacting with any of those other substances. Step 3. What needs are driving my use? In this step, make a note of the needs that are driving you to use social media. The needs that I wrote down are need for connection, community, opportunities, and consciousness, to develop and expand my consciousness. Step 4, how can I meet those needs in a different way? Brainstorm new ways that you meet those needs outside of social media use. You see, by admitting you have a problem, understanding its cause and the needs driving your behavior, you can build a life designed to fulfill those needs. Be well, dear child. Step 5, new behavior. You can establish new behavior by breaking up unconscious behavior with a pattern interrupt. For example, when you notice yourself unconsciously reaching for your phone, take a long, slow breath and ask yourself, what is my priority right now? Why am I reaching for my phone? At the beginning, when your body isn't trained to reach for your phone, it is important to employ a chosen pattern interrupt to get you out of that habit. Meanwhile, you can also establish new habits in your schedule and how you set up your work to be less reliant on social media. Facebook has resulted in so many new empowering connections, learning, and information. Has it? Yes, it has. I think of my teacher, Jerome Praggs, the Afro Buddha, and now the course I'm taking on inclusivity. They all came through Facebook. Yes, that is good. You don't really need more information, not much more, in order to expand your consciousness. What you need is connection. What do you mean by connection? I mean physical, tangible, real-world, heartfelt, loving, joyous connection. I mean natural, time and nature. Online, I mean connecting heart to heart and communities you belong to, and nothing more. Heart connection is what is needed. When you connect to another's heart, you will get all the best consciousness of the mind and the practical information informed by the lower centers as well. The heart includes all of it. But it protects you from receiving the limited information coming from just the higher or the lower. In a way, information from just the higher or lower vantage points, referring to the chakra system here, is deceitful in that it is only a limited view, whereas the heart contains all. The heart is a shortcut in consciousness. What would the ideal configuration of social media use look like? It is not that different than what you currently use in terms of the actual apps. Eventually the apps will evolve and become less corrupt, which will be wonderful. They will be more simple and clear to use without worrying about protecting yourself from an unwanted agenda. But for now, the apps you use are okay, just to greatly diminish their importance in your life and to begin to use them only for specific intentions of sharing your heart wisdom and message, expanding your heart's consciousness through heart sharing, and practical information sharing that will elevate you through the grand reorganization. So I hope that today's video lands for you and that as a result of watching this, you reflect and maybe look at your life and see what need to be met and how you can change your behavior to meet them in a different way so that your use of social media is healthy and that it's not using you or diminishing your capacity to be a creator in this world. Personally, the reflections that I've made about social media use and how strongly I was using it as a result of COVID when I was living alone in Mexico has really resulted in some major changes, such as coming back to Canada and moving in with my friends and being here in Ottawa to establish new routines. Also, looking online to meet someone new and finding a great new boyfriend. So I've just had so much fulfilling connection in my life in the last few months that it's quite a dramatic difference. I also intend to expand and try on the MeWe platform, so if you haven't heard of that, maybe check that out, and I am linking below my social media connection on MeWe, which is a platform that has zero advertising, and so there isn't that background agenda for profit and power that Facebook has. Whew, my arm is getting sore here. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really enjoyed making this video. I'd love to hear any feedback that you have, and also just remember that on Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern, I am uploading my videos and spending the first hour or so responding to comments. So if you have any questions or if you want me to channel for you, I'm doing that at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fridays. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Even hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload new videos. I always love to connect with you here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. So this is my new setup. It's the Canon M50, which is just like a great small portable camera, and like a little Rode mini mic, and this little tripod, and came with this camera bag and another lens. This is the lens that usually comes with the camera, and then this lens allows you to have kind of that blurry background effect, and then this ring light. Sorry. So I'm all set to make some awesome videos.